If you haven't done any Mylar designs before, please check our first video, How to do Mylar with Embroidery Part 1, for the basic information. This video is going to be a little bit more involved. In our first video about how to use Mylar with embroidery, we showed you how to use a single piece of opal translucent Mylar under an entire design and get lovely. You can also use brilliant colors of Mylar. Reds, greens, gold, orange, and this will have a totally different effect on your final sew out. You can even combine the colors with opal translucent to get exactly the effects that you'd like. What we do in the majority of our Mylar designs is use opal translucent Mylar under the entire design, and that simply reflects back the color of the thread that you use. If you want to use some of the brilliant colors of Mylar, your design will appear to have the color of the Mylar despite the color of thread you use. So in order to put the brilliant colors to good use, you'll want to do one of two things. You'll need designs that are all one color, like an autumn leaf done with a brilliant gold, or layer the Mylar for different parts of the design. Layering will not work for all designs, but with the ones we've created for our Autumn Wonders set, you can get some spectacular results with this technique. First, in our written instructions, we give you ratings for how easy or how difficult it will be to do the layering. Designs with lots of small parts in different colors will be a lot harder than a design with large parts and only 2 or 3 colors. For instance, the pumpkin on the left is very easy to do and will look terrific with orange Mylar under the body of the pumpkin. The wreath on the right was a little more difficult because there are 5 different colors and each of the parts are rather small. We'll start with this pumpkin. It's very simple to do. We're going to use a brilliant orange behind the body of the pumpkin and then regular Mylar behind the leaves and the vines. If you use the piece of brilliant orange behind the entire design, the leaves and the stem would appear orange, very noticeable. The thread color does not override the brilliant color of the Mylar. What we're going to do is start with the orange for the pumpkin. That'll be the first color in the design. The first thing that will happen with our designs at Charming Station is that it will sew an outline to show you exactly where to put the Mylar. One reason for the outline is so that you'll know exactly where the design is going to sew in your hoop. This will allow you to cut your Mylar to size so that you don't have to waste extra Mylar making it fit in the hoop with your fabric. Cover the outline with Mylar and use a couple of pieces of tape to hold it in place. We're going to start with a brilliant orange for the main body of the pumpkin. The second stitch in this design is going to tack down this Mylar. Now, we've mentioned before, use color number 3 for the tack down and outline stitches, and you won't have to change color. The next thing is the main portion of the pumpkin. We've already loaded up orange. We've used that for the outline and tack down, so you can just continue sewing. Now that the main body of the pumpkin has been sewn out in orange. Remove the hoop from the machine. It's a little easier to work with it this way. And we're going to remove all of the excess Mylar from this design. Now this is ready to go back on the machine, and we're going to sew out the green leaf and the brown stem. For the next parts of the design, we're going to let the color of the thread show through, so we need to place a sheet of Mylar, regular opal translucent Mylar, on top. This is where the layering comes in. This is on top of the other design, and we put some tape to hold it in place. The next thing that's going to sew in this design is the outline. You don't want that to sew over the top of all of this Mylar here, because that'll make it very difficult to remove. So we're going to stop at this point and remove the excess Mylar from this design. When the Mylar is out of the way, put the hoop back on the machine. We've loaded the black thread, so we just need to start. And let the final outline sew out. Be sure to check your color sheet for these designs too. There's one additional color, a green, which is going to add some vines to this design. Go ahead and sew those out next. We were careful to add these at the very end so that they sew out on top. These are satin stitches, and you don't need any Mylar underneath of these. So having removed the Mylar earlier is just fine. Okay, this one is entirely done. It was a fairly simple design. In part 3, we're going to show you how to do a more complex design with several different layers.